Odds were in my favor. I had 'em 5-1. And that leg to win came around the track. Sure enough, we had won.
Well, it's closing weekend. I finished another meet at Arlington Park. The meet was pretty good. Won a couple good stakes. Got to win on Peyote Patty again. I had a good meet. You know, a little slower than maybe the meets in the past. It was really spread out. You had your couple guys on top that won a lot of races. Cisco Torres, which is our leading rider. He won a ton of races. I ended up basically in the same spot in the standings as I have in the past years. But I won about a dozen less races. Could have been better, but I'm still happy with it. So closing weekend, I won a race for Mr. Mike Reavis on Ransom and Zip. It was her second race for Reavis. When I left the gate on Ranson and Zip, she's got some speed, but there was a couple other horses that had sent out there. So I let them hook up on the lead and just kind of let her relax and let those horses go and duel on the lead. And wait until we turn for home to make my move. She's kind of a filly that you got to keep after a little bit, so I wanted to get her outside right here so I didn't have to steady her at any point. So, when I started asking her, I hit the helmet camera and I knocked it down. When the horse come running up and split horses on the inside of me, when she felt that other horse, she started fighting back, and she tries really hard. So. She's won a lot of races and she knows where the winner's circle is, so she kept fighting all the way to the wire. Mike Reavis, I've won a lot of races for him. He's easy to ride for. He knows it's horse racing. He knows if something happens, we'll get him next time. Mike's always been, a real good friend to me that I could always come to with anything besides even racing. He's just a great person, a great friend, and even better horse trainer. We've done good together, so he's definitely my favorite trainer to ride for. I also rode a Walk in the Moonlight, another filly trained by Mike Reavis that I had won on in her last start. I knew that she would come running. I've had a long history with her. I've won a couple races on her. I won a stake on her back as a 2-year-old. When I left the gate on a Walk in the Moonlight, there was a full field with a lot of speed in there. So, I just let her relax and drop over to the fence and, just let her get in a stride so I could make a run late. As I went up the backside, I could see the 9 was, looking for a spot to get out. So, I thought that I was going to be able to, get through on the fence. So when he drifted off the fence a little bit right here, I kind of let her out a little bit to secure my spot. As we started around the turn, I could see, the horse in front of me looked like he had some horse. So, I just stayed tucked on the fence and, tried to follow him and maybe, maybe let him find a spot for me to go. So, as we turned for home, I was asking her to run, and, the horses in front of me were, they still had a little bit of horse. So, I was able to ask my filly to run without having to steady at all. So when we turned for home, luckily the 6 drifted out, and, I was able to find a seam to make it through. And, she kept going on, and she kept running strong, and, she just held on, got up for second, closed really good late and run a really good second coming off of her last win. So I rode another horse that ran a really good second, under review for Wayne Catalano. He was a pickup mount. I ended up picking him up late in the day. Wasn't expecting to ride him. He ends up jumping up and running a really good race. When I left the gate on under review, there was tons of speed in the race. Looked like everybody in the race could make the lead. So I just tucked in and dropped down on the fence and just saved as much ground, as much horse as I could. He really wasn't, getting a hold of the turf course quite as good as he could at first. It took him a little while to, get his feet underneath him. So I kind of just let him gather himself up down the backside, and there was a really fast pace. I was quite a ways off the lead, but I was comfortable where I was at. You know, as we were going, you know, heading for the turn, you know, he finally got his feet underneath him, and I started asking him to run a little bit, and he started moving really nice with me. You know, there was a lot of horses up there. It was a full field, so you know, I was trying to find somewhere to go, and you know, it looked like I was gonna find a seam. You know, and the 11 had ducks in right here, and when he comes out, you know, it bumps my horse, and you know, it took him a while to get his momentum going. And when I got bumped, it completely took all of his momentum away. All the way down the lane, it took me about to the 8th pole before I finally got him gathered back up and had a full run again. And you know, he closed a lot of ground late, running really good. Felt like I should have won the race, but you know, just couldn't quite get up through the things that happened in the race. Well, this is the final episode. You know, I honestly, I really didn't know from the beginning what really to expect. I knew it would be something that would be interesting. You know, I enjoyed doing things to show, you know, the public a little bit of the inside. It's been a blast. You know, I've enjoyed wearing the helmet camera. You know, I've enjoyed all the interviews, and you know, it's been really fun. I've got a lot of compliments. People actually, they appreciate what we've done, and you know, the different footage that they've never seen before. You know, narrating the races, I think it definitely helps people understand what they're watching. You know, we were going so slow, I didn't want to take any more hold of her than I already had, so I had no choice but to go ahead and let her out a little bit to go on, so I didn't choke the race out of her. Even the guy that's been here, you know, coming here his whole life, that's watched thousands and thousands of races, they still have never seen that angle of it. So, you know, I think we've definitely taught a lot of people, you know, lots of different things of what it is actually like being inside a race. I had a guy come up to me, he stopped me and he, you know, thanked me, and he said from seeing that angle, he said he'll never, you know, never be mad at another rider for the decision that he might made at the time, knowing and being able to understand how split-second those decisions are that the jockeys have to make. After, you know, all the episodes and the whole summer, I think what we have accomplished is higher than probably any expectations that I could have had. You know, it turned out awesome. I'm definitely gonna miss it. I've had lots of fun doing the show. You know, I'm really happy that I did. And you know, it's been fun.